right, hello everyone. Gabi Sorrentino back here in the podcast studio for episode 3 of Offsides. Honestly, can't believe we're already at episode 3. If you're watching on digital or YouTube right now, I've got my sweatshirt on. I'm a little casual today. It is freezing in this room, so you might be seeing me in long sleeves and a sweatshirt more often. But for those of you who are just listening on Apple and Spotify, you don't know that I have a sweatshirt on, so it's all good. Just had to let you guys know. Okay, so I'm back here in Cincinnati after taking a trip home to cover the Bengals playing the Washington Commanders. I grew up in D.C. It was so cool getting to be back home, and I posted this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but I went to my first NFL game when it was FedEx Field when I was 7 years old. I sat in a suite. My uncle had a suite. I sat in the suite and was watching the game. And that's kind of when I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. That's kind of when I was like, okay, I might want to be a sports reporter. I loved football from the start. And that really is what started this whole dream for me that's now become such a reality. So standing there on the field, 20 years later, my whole family was at a game. They got the same suite that I grew up going to. I know it was preseason, but getting to sit there and think, wow, this has really come full circle to me was such an incredible moment and something I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be sitting here right now, to be talking to you guys, to have a platform where I can share this, to be standing on that field, reporting on teams and not just watching them. It was such a cool moment for me, and I just wanted to talk about that and take a second because it makes me emotional. It was such a really cool thing for me. And yeah, I'm excited about it. It was awesome. So I had such a fun time, but now it's back to work. We talked Bengals with Jordan Battle last week, but we got to talk some more Reds because we spoke with Brady Singer week 1 of Offsides. And at that point, the Reds were kind of, creeping up in the wild card standings, but now this team is really looking like a playoff team. And there's been some shakeups in the Reds lineup the past few days. So Jake Fraley was DFA'd. He's now an Atlanta Brave. They claimed him off the wires. And guess who's back? Willie Beeman. Will Benson is back. When Will Benson got called back down to Louisville, he's been up and down all season long. Twitter was going crazy. We got questions for Gabbag about why Will Benson, why not someone else? When is he going to be coming back? Reds fans really like Will Benson. And look, I agree. Will is a fantastic guy, and I honestly think he makes this Reds team better. I saw a stat. The Reds are 36-26 when Will Benson makes some sort of an appearance in a game. That's pretty good. That shows that he makes this team better. He had a stretch in May where he had 4 straight games with home runs. He was the MVP of the Ohio Cup, the series with the Guardians. Will has shown flashes of greatness. He's also had things that Terry Francona hasn't been a fan of, like when he was watching the ball a few weeks ago or months ago, whenever that was. And then a few days later, he got sent back down to Louisville. And he spent some time in Louisville. I want to say this is maybe his longest stint in AAA of the season. I'm not 100% sure, but he's back. Will Benson is back. And all of this really got me thinking about what these guys are going through. Because I think the MLB is so much different than these other leagues where guys do go back and forth. They get sent down, they get sent back up. And I can't help but think what that does to someone's mental health, right? Constantly moving. Maybe thinking you're not enough. Maybe thinking you're not good enough. Maybe thinking you always have something to prove. I have to think that that's going through Will Benson's head. Never mind his family, his wife having to go back and forth. He has young kids, what they're thinking, moving back and forth, staying in hotels, staying in Airbnbs. And so I really wanted to ask Will about that. The mental health side of things. How you go and separate being a baseball player and maybe you didn't have a good day or maybe you got sent down but you're still dad at home. So we did chat about that in our conversation. And the other thing I want to talk about with Will Benson was around this time last year, I really got to know Will because I was covering a back to school event that Will was a part of, and he supplied local teachers with classroom supplies, backpacks, coloring books, pencils, crayons, whatever you name it. He supplied all of that for these teachers, and they were so grateful. And Will really is a big philanthropist. He takes that very seriously. He takes his platform very seriously, and it's something that I really admire about Will, and I really got to know him as Will Benson, the person, at that event this time last year. So kind of cool a year later to catch up with Will Benson to talk all about that. He's also a big chess player and has a big goal to be one of the best chess players in the world. So without further ado, here's my full conversation with Will Benson. I want to get to know Will, not just the baseball player, but the dad, the husband, off the field. What do you like to do aside from playing baseball?
Well, me personally, I love to play chess. I love to honestly just be outside. That's one of my favorite things to do, take my kids to the park. And going more to the dad side, my son loves to play baseball, so we are outside a lot. We are playing a lot of baseball. So don't necessarily always get that break away from the game. But other than that, I love to take my wife on dates and do those type of things and live a pretty normal life. You
think maybe one day the kids are going to be playing chess with you? You're going to teach them that part?
Absolutely. It's funny, my son actually, I'll be playing on the board and he'll just come up and grab pieces and move it around. So I know his interest, he has interest in the pieces at least. So I know as he develops and gets older, I'll be able to explain the game to him. My daughter too, she's the same way. She just wants to be next to me. She'll be grabbing pieces and stuff of that nature.
So you've gone into the chess stuff a little bit, but I heard you say you want to be a grandmaster. I don't know anything about chess. So what does that entail? Like, what does that mean? How would you get there? What's that process like?
So, I'm not as versed as well with that answer, but what I can tell you this, I know there's a certain ranking or rating that you have to acquire to be, I know at least on an internet grandmaster, I think that's what it is. But then actual grandmaster, you have to beat another grandmaster in a tournament. So, as time goes, I'll have to actually go to tournaments and play in tournaments. I haven't done that just yet, but I'm closer to going to a tournament than I was before.
So, you talked a little bit about your kids. One of the biggest questions that, I have for, all of you athletes is how do you go from maybe not having the best day here? Maybe you lose, maybe you didn't have a good day. But then your dad at home. They don't know you as Will, the MLB player, right? Like, they know you as dad. How do you turn that off and turn what happened, on the diamond off and then be dad and be the best dad you can be to them?
That's a great question. I think it's a process in its own self, right? It's not easy, but I think when you actually see your child and you see your kids, it's an automatic switch. It's an automatic, because again, like you said, they don't really understand. Especially the age that my children are. They just want love, they want affection, they want to be held, they want to play cars, or like I said, my son just wants to play baseball. So it's an easy switch, in some ways, and I'm almost looking forward to it when I'm not having my best day, because I know that matter of fact that they don't really care at all. But again, there are also times where it is hard to flip that switch, and in those times, I just express gratitude. It's such a blessing to be where I am. It's such a blessing to have children and have a beautiful family. And once I get my heart postured in that manner, it's real easy to really flip that switch.
Did you feel like one of the harder times was when you kind of went into this season with a little bit of an unknown, because you go through spring training, you start in Louisville, then you're back here, then you're back in Louisville. Like, how was that for you, for your family? Again, trying to be that rock for them. But then you're also kind of in this point where you're like, I don't know what's happening, right?
No, it was extremely stressful. And when you're dealing with the unknowns, right, it's a matter of how can you control your mind and keep your mind focused on the present moment and things that matter. So that was really challenging, especially for my wife, because we were trying to coordinate coming out. There was a time where I got called back up. They're about to come out, had everything set up. Then I got sent back down. So it was very challenging, to say the least. And the best way that, I was able to deal with it is, stay prayed up, stay faithful, and just keep my focus on, what I've been given, the opportunities that I am given, and maximizing them, and finding, hey, well, how can we make this work to see you guys again? Because when you're with your family, and at least in my case, when I'm with my family, that's when I'm, I'm at peace, So just try to make those things work out, and just stay level-headed through it all.
I mean, so many people see you guys on the field as these superstars, and you are.
Yeah.
But not always do they think of your wife at home who's watching the kids when you guys are traveling to all of these games. Who's, coordinating how to get from Louisville to here. I mean, it's, you have to think about them too, and she's a superstar and a superhero in her own right too.
Oh my God, yeah. I tell all the time she's a superhero. And kind of back to your point, like, we haven't even gotten settled down here in Cincinnati, which is like crazy to think, but she's been so great at, like, hey, finding this Airbnb here, or, finding this place to stay here when we come back, and obviously going on the road trips, being able to just hold the fort down, in this small hotel room with 2 children, so it's like a lot of things that people don't see on the, on the outside. I have great, admiration and appreciation for my wife and the things that she does, for our family on the inside. So.
Well, and then it, clears room for you to then laser focus in on baseball and playing your best. And then she can kind of do that, and then it all works out.
It all works out. She does her part, I do mine, and it's a perfect recipe.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your philanthropy, because that's how you and I really met, was last year doing an event together, and you just mentioned that you've been trying to do that more at home. Why is that so important to you, and, it's part of something that you really care about, aside from baseball?
Yeah, I mean, at a young age, God put into my heart the importance of giving back. And that started with my father and my mother, and some of the initiatives and things that we did when I was younger. And so, as I got older, and obviously I felt that was a part of my purpose within the game, was to give back, because I've been blessed so tremendously to, be in this position to begin with. How fortunate that I am, and how can I share this blessing with others? And that's what it's really all about, how can I uplift the people around me? And I've been again fortunate with some of the people I've been able to encounter to help me, along the way. Starting with my mother, she's amazing, and she helped me set up my nonprofit back in 2017, and all those, great things. And again, just other people that I met down the road that have helped me, coordinate events and things of that nature to actually give back to my community.
Okay, we're going to have some fun with the last 2 questions. Okay. Willie Beeman. Where did the Instagram handle, the nickname, where did that all come from? Yeah,
so this was in 2018. Todd Isaacs, Juan Hillman, they were my teammates, the Lake County captains.
Okay.
When I was at Cleveland. And Todd would always just call me Willie Beeman, and then it kind of stuck with, Juan started calling me that too, and it just stuck. Yeah. And I've been Willie Beeman ever since.
Okay, and I always want to finish these off with a fun question.
Yeah.
If you weren't a baseball player, what would your career be, and why?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, what's crazy is I feel like I'm a all-time hustler, so I just I find a way to get to the bread and keep it pushing. I mean, I remember, it's so funny when you're young, you think you want to do something, then you don't. I wanted to be a journalist, so I wanted to be low-key in your shoes.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that.
Yeah, but my mother inspired me a lot. She was like a business manager.
Okay.
And that was something that I thought that I could be really good at. And I was gonna major in that, in college as well. So I would say definitely a business manager, and like I said,
just some side hustles here and there.
Yeah, straight hustling. That'd be my job.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Will. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
and
honored.
I think your story is so cool, and you're such a great person. So I really appreciate it. So the question that everyone was asking a few weeks ago of how long will it be until we see Will Benson again? Well, he's here now. But now the question is, how long will he stay? Because he's not really a solid piece in this Reds lineup right now. He's mostly coming into DH. But it'll be interesting to see if Terry Francona keeps him here, if he brings someone else up and sends Will back down. I know that Cincinnati Reds fans love Willie Beeman. He's a great guy. He always has a smile on his face. It always seems like he's giving 100% every day. But of course, a manager in any team, the numbers have to be there too. You can't just go off of how great a person is, because I know that these guys would have everybody on the team if they could, because they're all great people. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Will these next few weeks, especially as the season's starting to come to an end, as the Reds have some huge series in front of them, and they're in that position to go to the postseason, to play postseason baseball in Cincinnati. So where does Will fit into all that? It's something that we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the next few weeks as we continue to cover the Reds' push for a chance at that third and final NL wildcard spot. But some great stuff from Will. Looking forward to the Reds being back in town and being back at Great American Ballpark covering them. I know there's going to be a lot of fans at these last handful of home games, so I'm really excited to get back out there, see the guys out there, have some more conversations as we get closer to that postseason baseball push. Okay, that's all I've got today on Offsides with Gabi Sorrentino. Looking forward to episode 4, Monday, 9 a.m. They drop on wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we're also streaming on all of Fox 19's digital platforms, Roku TV, Apple TV, and YouTube as well, so you can actually watch my conversations with these guys because they're all on camera, not just audio as well. All right, guys, hope you have a great week. I'll see you next week.